Hi, everybody. Neil Winterite here with Matterhorn Business Development. It's been a little while since I did a live stream. Honestly, I didn't have a whole lot to say or talk about that I thought was actually going to be helpful. So I am doing this as a live stream, but it's not necessarily like a live feedback video. So if you're watching this afterwards, it's totally okay. But I wanted to talk. I found a couple of articles that I found very interesting related to how some businesses are moving forward related to dealing and working with the pandemic that is going on. And there was two articles that I found that were very interesting that I want to talk about really quickly, and then kind of talk about where I see things going from here. And if they don't go this way, you might want to listen to what I have to say, because I think it's what should be done to safeguard your business and protect you from future pandemics and from future things that might occur. So the first article I found was on a website called The Drive, thedrive.com. It's a car and automotive website. I am a car enthusiast, so I click in there every now and then. And I actually found an article published yesterday on The Drive that says Ford tests buzzing wristbands to keep 6-foot distance between factory workers. So what they actually have done is they've actually piloted putting some of their employees into one of their factories and working with these wristbands that when an employee gets too close to another, because the wristbands, they will actually vibrate, letting them know that they need to separate and actually keep at least a 6-foot distance. It also said that they're going to be doing thermal temperature checks as the employees arrive to make sure that they are not sick or anything like that. I actually thought that that was a really good idea and a great pilot to try in a time like this. And then Abby actually sent me another article that says that Disney, the theme park, is actually planning in the future to maybe have to do temperature checks on people when they arrive. Right now, they do bag checks, and the CEO of Disney, Bob Iger, said we might have to start implementing a temperature check at some point in the future as well. And honestly, I think that what Ford is doing and what Disney is talking about doing are actually very smart. And I actually think that this is stuff that should have been happening maybe 15 years ago, maybe even 20 years ago. I think checking a temperature of all employees before they arrive to work during a known virus season, or, people say all the time, oh, I got that bug that's going around. Well, how does a bug that's going around, quote unquote, infect everybody? Well, somebody gets sick, they leave their house, they go to work. And, sometimes we kind of validate or hold up employees who kind of gutted it out and made the targets and got the work done. And honestly, I don't think that that's the way that we should be looking at these things. I think if somebody is sick or is infectious, they need to stay home and they need to do these quarantines that we hear people talking about with the COVID-19. You should have a 3 to 5 day quarantine period from the time that you get sick, whether it's a fever, runny nose, coughing, etc. An employee should not be allowed to show up to work and risk infecting other people that are at their jobs and risk spreading these diseases. And at times we think that people are brave for, sticking it up and coming to work and that kind of thing. And honestly, if a person is sick, they shouldn't be working. They should be at home. They should only leave to go and see a doctor, and they should go home and they should actually quarantine themselves for 3 to 4 days. And there should be a time period after their symptoms go away before they are allowed to show back up to work. It should be a doctor recommended time period and a doctor approved re-entry into the office to ensure that other people don't get sick. And it's funny that it takes a pandemic like this for these things to actually come up. It's almost like the flu season is just normal. You get your flu shot, you go to work, it's flu season, people get the flu, whatever it is. I think that in America, at least, our opinion and our viewpoint of these types of illnesses and sicknesses needs to change completely. Let's say 2%, 3% of the population get the flu, 5% of the population gets the flu, whatever it might be. I don't know the exact numbers, but let's say it's 5%. Well, we could probably cut that in half if we actually enforce people who are sick staying home, only going to see their doctor or get medications that they need if somebody else can't pick up the medications for them. But it should be normal for people to be able to stay home. And employees, especially now, depending on the illness and how sick they are, we've proven with this pandemic that people can work from home. And if a person is not feeling terrible and they want to work, they should be allowed to work from home if they can. But it actually keeps the other 95% of the workforce safe and secure to be able to do their job. And I think the workers' rights, so to speak, should allow for people who are not sick to be able to work, and people that are sick should go home and not be able to infect the people around them. And, there might be some companies out there already that do this kind of stuff, but, it's almost like sick days are, okay, he has a sick day, he goes home, he has a sick day, that's fine. But what if people are out of sick days? What if your company doesn't pay you during a sick day? Then you are forced to kind of come to work and be able to work so that you do get paid and you do get your benefits, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that laws are going to have to change. And I think that the way that we view illness in the country has to change. If somebody is sick, they should not be allowed to come into your office. And I think that a person in the company is now going to need to have the job of checking on the welfare and wellness of all of your staff, especially if you have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 employees. I mean, let's say there's 500 people who work in an Amazon warehouse. There might need to be 4 or 5 people who are there just to make sure and check on the welfare of all of their staff. Are you sick? Are you okay? How are you doing? Things of that nature. And if a person is sick, they need to be urged to not come in. They need to be urged to go to the doctor, and they should have a doctor's letter when they are allowed to come back to work. And I think that these are the types of things that we have to change. If things like this were in place before all of this coronavirus had happened, a lot less people would have gotten sick, a lot less people would have died, and the industries would not have been affected the way that they are right now. I mean, I'm here in Florida. We're on like week 2 of the quarantine. I'm hoping May 1st, everything goes back to normal, but this is kind of ridiculous. Now, I know it's necessary, and I'm not saying it's not. And, I hope that nobody watching this has been affected drastically health-wise by COVID-19. But the point is that if these types of measures were taken into account, this virus would have been found and stopped well before the middle of January when we started hearing cases about it. I guarantee that this was something that was in the country a month or 2 before, but it was never caught. It was never thought of. People were still going to work. And that's really the problem here, is that business has to change how it handles its employees. Excuse me. Business has to change how it handles its employees. And I think that we need to take these types of things more seriously. And it needs to be the job of a person in a company or a corporation that actually handles these types of things. Sorry if you hear that. They are mowing the grass right outside my window right now and doing a very loud job of it. So it needs to be the job of somebody in a company to actually check on the welfare of these people. If we had these types of things in place, we would have actually not have been affected as badly as we are right now. And so it's just something to think about going forward. If this does not become a nationwide mandate where temperatures have to be checked, welfare has to be checked, things of that nature, you need to take care of it in your own company. It needs to become a policy to keep your staff safe and secure from illness and injury. And there needs to be policies in place to prevent people from working or coming to work that might possibly be sick. And if they are ill, they need to be quarantined in their homes. They need to stay at home. Anybody that lives in the home with them, honestly, should be quarantined as well to make sure that it does not continue to spread. And this will disrupt business to a small degree. You think, oh, but what if I lose my employee, whatever? Well, imagine only losing one of your employees rather than losing all of your employees and going through what we're going through right now. So I actually think the future of business is going to change as a result of this. And I think that it is very smart for a business owner to do these types of things. If you aren't already doing it, you need to look at how you can change when the country reopens, which hopefully is going to be soon and people can get back to work. You need to think with how you change handling illnesses in your business. And again, I know everybody's first thought is, well, if I lose my employee to a runny nose or to this and they could be working, or what if I just bring them in and leave them in their own office with the door shut? It's going to be better for the company. It's not going to be better for the company. It's not going to be better for the economy. It's not going to be better for the country if people that are ill are showing up even after all of this pandemic stuff. I'm talking about during the flu season, et cetera. If a person is ill, we need to change how we handle that so that business does not get disrupted like this again. If these measures had been taken years ago, we would not have experienced this pandemic to the level that it is. Our normal flu seasons would not be as bad as they are. All of these things need to change. I mean, it's really mind-boggling to me how somebody can be ill, infected with something, and then get on an airplane and fly across the country and not even think about how other people are going to be affected by them. I don't like that type of stuff, and that's really how we got to where we are. So we need to think differently with how we handle illness. I don't think we need to be wearing gloves for the rest of our lives or face masks for the rest of our lives. We are not there. But if we can take certain precautions, I think things will be a lot better. And I think that the future of business will be brighter if you take measures to do something about it right now. So that's kind of my thoughts. It kind of got me thinking after reading those two articles on the drive and about Disney actually thinking about temperature checks in the future. It would keep America healthier. It would keep America safer. It would keep people happier and more productive in life if they didn't have to get sick because they came into contact with somebody else at work. And I think that these are very important things that should be done anyway. It just is too bad that it's taken a pandemic of this size and an economy completely shut down to where we start talking and thinking like this. But I think the future of business is bright as long as we take more precautions with our staff and with our employees and make sure that everybody's healthy and make sure that they are not infecting other people. So you might need to buy some thermometers. There's some really fancy thermometers where it's just a little handle and you hold it up to the person's head and you don't even come into contact with them and you can check their temperature. Maybe that's something that has to be done daily as people are coming in during a flu season to make sure that nobody is sick. And if there is any chance of them being sick, they have to go to the doctor and they have to get medical approval to show up for work. This is going to need to become the new norm if we are going to ever fight having this type of a shutdown, because I guarantee you whatever extra work might be involved with getting a thermometer and having somebody check everybody's temperature every day is a lot easier than being shut down and closed for business for a month. So those are my thoughts. I'd love to hear some of your thoughts down in the comments down below. If you have any questions or you need anything, reach out to us. I'd love to hear what it is that people are doing to stay busy during this time. And hopefully you are staying busy and working on your business. And I hope to do another live stream or two next week. So be able to just check back to the channel and follow us along and make sure that you stay up to date. So stay healthy, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you next week. Bye.